We're going to practice logging into the Ohio Air Test. So first we will go to oh.portal.airast.org, AIRAST.org, and click on the Ohio State Test Portal. Once in there, you're going to click on Teachers Test Administrators. And for the purpose of this, we are going to go into the practice site, but on actual testing day, you will go into the TA interface. Now you should make sure and try to log in ahead of time before test day to make sure that your credentials are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And once you log in, you will see that you have your test options. If you click on this little plus sign, it will take you to the different tests in that subject area. So I'm just going to click on Grade 3 English, and then I'm going to click on Start Practice Session at the bottom. Once I click on that, I get the code, the practice session ID, that I can put on the board for the students. So from here, we're going to go over to Chromebook and see the next steps for the students.
As a student, I am not going to log into my Google account. I'm going to go to the bottom left under Apps, and I'm going to click on Apps, and then I'm going to click on Air Secure Test. Once I click on that, it's going to initialize. And it's going to take me into this section where I choose my state. Pick Ohio, and it's Ohio State Test. I click OK. And then I have to log in. For our purposes, I'm going to go to the training test site. And uncheck guest session during the actual test, and I am going to put in that ID number. I put in our training code, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and it's going to ask me, and of course during the actual test it'll have the student's name and information. I can select my grade. Go ahead and select yes after I check all the information. And then I'm going to want to check the test to make sure I'm on the right test. Click on the little green arrow. And now we're going to wait for the teacher to approve all of these requests. So I'm going to go back to my teacher screen.
Back on my teacher screen, I see that I have one approval waiting for me. And of course, that's the one that we just logged in as a student. I'm going to go ahead and click on the approvals. And I can see that guest, and during a test I would see the name, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that check mark. And then my student information will update. And we'll go back to the Chromebook and see what's happening for the student.
Because my teacher approved the test, I will get this screen, and it's going to ask, is this your test? And you're going to have the students scroll through, and then once they've gone through this, they can click yes, start my test. And then you see some additional information for the students to look at. And once they go through this information, they can click begin my test now. And it will load the page, and you'll see they're ready to go in their test. Notice at the top here, the test should be saving automatically. We're going to jump back to our teacher screen in a minute, but then when students are finished, they do click End Test.
Back on my teacher screen, I can see that my student is testing. I can pause the test if I need to, and I can view what's going on there. And just wait till they're finished.
So as a student, I finished my test, and I clicked on the button to end test, and now it's going to ask me, are you sure you've clicked on the end test? Click yes if you want to continue to the next page, which I'm going to do. And it says, congratulations, you've reached the end of your test. You can review. Now notice we have these little exclamation marks. This is because I didn't actually finish, so it's giving the students a warning. But I'm going to go ahead and submit my test. Are you sure you want to submit? I'm going to click yes. And then it says, congratulations, you're all done. I'm going to log out, and then I'm going to power off my computer.
As the teacher, once the student has completed their test and submitted, I now see that they are at a completed status. So you want to make sure that it says completed before you end all of your tests. So once that has happened, you can click the stop button up here, and it's going to tell you it's going to stop the test, make sure all your students are finished, and I'm just going to click OK. And then I'm finished with our test session.